Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today, it's a lovely day. I just wanted to make a video about why I decided to chop in the Kawasaki Z500 and exchange it for this, the Triumph 400. Okay, so there's one main reason I decided to get rid of the Z500, and that was basically the noise that it made. It was, I swear that it wasn't quite right. Okay, so there was a really loud clicking noise as you was riding along, and it usually came about like 3.5 to 4,000 revs upwards. So I'll try and put a little clip in here if I can find any footage of it. You should be able to hear it. And it sounds like something's like chattering away, like maybe the cam chain not tensioned properly, or I don't know, I wouldn't say valves. But performance wise it went all right. It just had that weird ticking noise, and it wasn't, I don't think it was normal for the engine. And I did take it down to the dealership, but 2 or 3 times they looked at it, they said yeah, there's a loud ticking, but they didn't really do anything. They didn't attempt to try and do anything to fix it. They just said, yeah, don't worry about it, it's fine. Which I felt a bit fobbed off really, but because it was really quite annoyingly loud to me, and it doesn't sound like, I've not heard it on anyone's videos when they're riding parallel twins for reviews of bike, or even anyone else riding that bike on YouTube, hear the ticking like that. So yeah, I was a bit fobbed off with that, felt a bit fobbed off rather, and really disappointed with that. So I mean, if it wasn't for that, I probably would have kept it. Yeah, I couldn't reject the bike because mechanically it worked fine, it just had this loud ticking noise. Okay, so the main reason, like I said, was the ticking noise. There was another minor reason. I did mention this in the previous video, but for anyone who hasn't watched that or doesn't watch my channel, the second reason was probably storage, because I got fed up with having to wear backpacks. I know backpacks are good, but they're such a faff to put on and off with, especially when you got like riding jackets, like motorbike jackets, because motorbike jackets are quite thick, bulky, you know, you got the back armours and shoulders armour. Backpacks can just be a bit of a faff, and I was just getting a bit annoyed with that. And I'm not one into hard luggage like top boxes. I think they look ugly. Don't get me wrong, they're great for storage and they belong on things like adventure bikes, but the type of bikes I want, top boxes just look a bit hideous, I think. So I wanted some soft luggage, and the Z500 didn't really accommodate soft luggage with the pillion seat being so small. So they're the 2 main reasons I got rid of it. Seeing it in person, I was actually considering one of these before I got the Z500, because the Z500 was my first big bike, and I was considering this Speed 400, a Gorilla 450 was another one I was thinking about, but I ended up going for the Kawasaki because I went down the Kawasaki dealership just window shopping, and they had some great deals. They had 0% HP finance, I think it was £1,100 off at the time, and 4 years warranty. So I sort of just got it on an impulse buy there and then. And it's a good bike, don't get me wrong, it's a good bike. But now I've actually had this, and the more I look at this, the more I can appreciate, I think this is a much better looking bike. I think the Kawasaki's nowadays are far too space age and angular, and especially like the Ninja, the big Ninjas. Sorry, I thought someone was coming. Especially like the big Ninjas, they're, I think they look horrid. They're angular, they look like, trying to look like spaceships. I mean, seeing this in person, like, there's nothing angular and triangular about it. It's just excellent shape. I love it. I mean, you definitely have to see this in person to appreciate it more. It doesn't do it justice on videos and pictures. So yeah, I thought I'd do a little comparison between the 2. Now I've got it here. Obviously I don't have the Kawasaki anymore, but we can go through what's similar and the differences and what I prefer about each bike. So I'll bring you in to the bike, and we'll have a look. I've got my phone with some cheat sheets on it, so I remind me of what I want to talk about and I don't forget anything. But yeah, I'll move you in and we'll compare. Okay, so this is the Speed 400, and one thing you'll notice is that is not a stock exhaust. That was an optional extra. So yeah, that's an optional extra from the dealer. So everything here is stock, whereas the Kawasaki had a huge big exhaust that was just horrendous looking and really quiet. Seems to be a thing that Japanese bikes are doing nowadays, whereas even the stock exhaust on this Triumph is actually really nice, but this is just puts it in another level. The baffles have been taken out. They're soft, it's like a soft cushiony sound dampener. That's been taken out. So that is the only thing that is different to everyone else's stock bike, and that's an accessory from the Triumph dealer. A few Triumph dealers are doing them now. I got it from the one in Maidstone. Apart from that, the only other accessories I got were the pads to protect the paintwork and a radiator guard, because I think every bike should have a radiator guard. The next thing would be the performance and the fueling is another thing I've got written down. So performance is very similar. This is 40 horsepower, whereas the Z500 is 45 horsepower. So they're pretty similar and they weigh about the same, 170 kilos for this, 172 for the Z500. So the performance is roughly the same. This is a single cylinder though, so maybe a little bit more evenly spaced like torque throughout the range. Another thing I prefer compare these two is the mirrors, because the default mirrors on the Z500 were absolutely horrendous. I hated them. All you saw was a load of shoulder. With these, you got the bar end mirrors, and they're so much better. I even put bar end mirrors on my Z500 because they just worked so much better. Another thing I didn't like about the Z500, which I much prefer about this one, is the headlights. The Z500 headlights, they felt like they only went about 20 yards in front of you. So as soon as you got over 30 mile an hour, it felt really dangerous. So I'm trying to think how far it would be up there. The camera doesn't do it justice, but the lights wouldn't go too far up there on the Z500. And no matter how much I adjusted them, you see the lights down here, right where the headlight was on, when I adjusted them, you'd see them moving up here, like the light moving, but against the wall, it wouldn't move up. So that was the wall. The lights was there. No matter how much I adjusted them, they wouldn't go up. They just stopped there. So I don't know if it was the actual shroud of the Z500, because they've got quite an aggressive shroud that faces downwards. No, I've got flies on my headlights. Need to clean them. Yeah, the shroud, maybe the aggressive shroud just stopped. It just was a hard cut off for the light, because they wouldn't go higher no matter what. I'm not the only one who suffered with that with the Z500. I've seen other people complain about that online. So that was another thing. The headlight adjustment was the headlight adjustment just wasn't great. The full beam was fine, perfect. The full beam was lovely, but you can't ride around with full beam on, because that would have just annoyed the hell out of everyone. So that was the next point. Next point I've got is the looks. I'm sort of touched on this about how the Z500 was all angular, and this is nice and smooth and round and just a beautiful bike. When I did get the Z500, I did like the looks of it quite a bit actually when I first got it. It was a modern bike, quite sporty looking, sporty position. It's basically a Ninja without the fairings. But since I have seen this in person and actually got this, I've sort of lost appreciation for the Kawasaki so much, a little bit, because the more I look at this, the more I put this. Obviously, it's all personal preference. The more I absolutely love the look of this bike. The Z series and the Ninja series all appear to be like spaceships now, and I've going off it now. I'm more appreciating this, the more traditional, rounded. I guess this is classed as modern classic, but yeah, I just don't like the angular, triangular shaped bikes, modern bikes that are coming out. They look too plasticky and too spaceshipy. Next thing down I've got is comfort or riding position. So the seat is probably better on this one. It's a little bit wider, a little bit plusher. The Z500 had a fairly decent seat. I wouldn't want to ride in it for more than a couple of hours though. This one I don't know because I haven't ridden it for a couple of hours yet. But the suspension on this is definitely a little bit softer than the Z500. The Z500 was quite a harsh ride. Not too bad, it wasn't like uncomfortable, but after riding this I realised just that was firmer setup, and this is more comfortable for the British roads, I think. But the positioning, this one's a little bit more upright. I don't know if I prefer this. I prefer the leg position on this. I'm not sure if I prefer the hand position. The Z500 had a slightly more natural hand position than this. I'm wondering maybe if this, get my phone out of the way, I'm wondering maybe if this bar could sort of be leant backwards slightly, because they sort of feel like they're going upwards slightly. Maybe if I just lowered it a little bit, a tiny bit. But it's not uncomfortable. It's just, I think maybe the Z500, although it had lower bars, might have been a more natural fit for the, just natural fit for your arms and that. Maybe this just needs twisting slightly and it will be fine. But overall, comfort-wise, this would be better for a longer journey. Much more comfortable for a longer journey. The vibes, this one, I haven't felt any vibes so far. Obviously, I've not given it any full beans, but it's actually really smooth. It's smoother than the Z500. I had some real bad vibes with the Z500 sometimes, and especially when I put the bar end mirrors on. There was a ever so slight, I mean, it's barely noticeable vibration in the handlebars without the bar end weights on. But this is smooth. I mean, no complaints about smoothness with this. And there is one little thing that probably isn't important to most people, but the information button here is brilliant. Riding along, you just press this little information button. On the Z500 you had to go down here, push two buttons. There's two little buttons here, two buttons, and you could barely know if you touched them or not. They wasn't very tactile. But this information button's fantastic. I love it. But apart from that, I don't think I've got anything. Oh, the Z500 had bobbins. This doesn't, which is an annoyance. So I'm going to have to get some little, like little trays rather than hooks to lift it up on the paddock stand. And what else? This side stand is better. This side stand is better than the Z500. First of all, it's got this little bit here, so you can catch your foot on it. The Z500 didn't have that. You had to sort of reach around and grab the flick down on the body of the thing, which was an odd design decision. And this sits flatter. The Z500, when it's in this position like it is now, it's just the steering lock's not on. The Z500 was fine, but when you turn it to the left, it didn't sit flat on the floor, whereas this one sits flat on the floor if you turn it to the left as well. So I think this one's better designed. Small things, I know, but all these things need mentioning. Also, the luggage situation. Look at that, you just fit that big Oxford towel bag on it. I had that on my CB125F, and because that has sort of a benchy style seat as well. No way that would fit on the Z500, but it fits on here just fine. That's 20 litres of storage, soft luggage, and it looks fine. Top box would look a bit silly, but this looks alright. Yeah, that's my comparisons. Overall, what do I think? Obviously I'm going to be a bit biased because I now own this, so I prefer this at the moment. The Z500 I was never satisfied with it. There's always something I wasn't satisfied with and I felt needed changing. Like the exhaust, the mirrors, what's that ticking noise. This has come straight up. This has come straight out of the showroom, and I don't feel like I need to do anything to it. I'm off to ride it some more. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you decide if you're deciding between these two, and I'll catch you in another video. See you later. Bye. I feel like a bit like a two-wheeled Willy now in the graveyard. Maybe I'll do a video through the graveyard. A two-wheeled Willy video.